William Jefferson Clinton.
It's a time-honored tradition, 250 years strong.
I, George Walker Bush, do solemnly swear.
The American people electing their leaders.
I, Barack Hussein Obama.
Presidents, an indelible mark on our nation's history.
I, Joseph Robinette Biden Jr., do solemnly swear.
Serving their country, the highest office in the land.
Hi, Dad. What's it like to be part of the ex-president club?
Well, it can be boring when we're all together. No, it's an honor. There's a great camaraderie because we all shared something special.
Our nation's leaders each carrying the weight of those promises and the ideals of our founding fathers.
There's a weight of the presidency that few can understand.
You understand it.
I understand it.
I found that people were ready to help. I was a senator for a long time, been in that building a lot of times.
Yes.
36 years I was a senator, and then 8 years as vice president. And it was an opportunity to be able to focus on the things that I thought needed to happen.
What was your favorite part about being the president?
You get to meet the widest possible cross-section of the American people. You know, every corner of this country is just full of really amazing, hardworking, decent people, and getting that broad overview of who we are as Americans, it made me much less cynical. It made me less prone to think there's an us and a they.
For some, that inspiration came from the very place they would one day call home, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
At 16 years old, you walked into the White House and met then President JFK. What did that moment do to inspire a 16-year-old kid from Hope, Arkansas, to want a life in service?
It made a huge impression on me. It made me realize that a president, even on a bad day, can do something good for somebody. Mm-hmm. That's what I took out of it. I just couldn't believe he was spending all that time with us. Everybody says when you become president that they remember it, blah, 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 and that I knew when I was standing in the Rose Garden that I was going to be there someday. That's just not true.
You couldn't have even imagined it at 16.
I thought I wanted to be a United States Senator from Arkansas. I did dream of doing that. I never dreamed I'd be president.
What were you most grateful for about the experience of being president of the United States?
Well, I just was the greatest honor of my life, or any American's life. The idea that a kid from Scranton, Pennsylvania, we weren't poor, but we're a middle-class guy, could, you know, used to have a stutter, could end up being president of the United States. It's just kind of a story of what America's all about.
These formers, as they are called, remembered for leading our country through some of our greatest challenges.
What do you think was the most historically significant moment of your presidency?
9/11.
I can hear you. The rest of the world hears you.
I think historians will analyze that day, America's response after that day. It was a reminder that the human condition elsewhere matters to the security of this country. It mattered then, and it now matters now, by the way. And but I think people want to know how the country responded, and it was overwhelming volunteerism, starting with the military. It was an outpouring of patriotism. We can recapture that. I hope it doesn't require a crisis, but it's still latent in the American soul.
Your presidency was a historic one. You were the first Black president of our country. What do you think the history books are going to look back and say?
It's very hard for us to judge our place in history. That's up to other people. Mm-hmm. I can speak about what an extraordinary honor it was to serve the American people. Mm-hmm. I can speak to how inspired I was to hear the stories of folks out there who were doing wonderful things in their communities, helping each other out, being good neighbors. Maybe one thing I am proud of is the fact that I think we upheld the integrity and the honor of the office, and how we conducted ourselves and how we ran our administration.
What are you most grateful for for all your years of service and your time as president?
I am grateful that I had a chance to do what President Kennedy said everyone should want to do, to make maximum use of the talents God gave me, and to do it in a way that benefited other people. You know, you can get up every day, no matter how bad it is, you can make something good happen for somebody. And that is a gift beyond imagining.
How do you hope the history books see your service?
Well, I hope it's not unlike I see your dad's and your grandfather's service, as generated by making sure everybody got a shot. My dad used to say, look, Joey, everyone's entitled to a shot. No guarantee, everyone's entitled to a shot, guarantee.
250 years later,
It's one small step for man.
a nation tested
I have a dream.
and a democracy that endures.
You ran on a simple yet effective principle, which was hope.
Yeah.
Do you still feel that hope in our country?
I do. You know, the first time I was on the national stage and I talked about hope,
Hope in the face of difficulty.
I reminded people hope is not blind optimism.
The audacity of hope.
Hope arises in the face of difficulty, in the face of uncertainty. And obviously we're going through some uncertain times. But when you look at the sweep of American history, we've gone through rough patches. And we tend to come out on the other side of them stronger.
Family members can't sit across from one another and debate.
Well, we can.
We can.
Yeah.
And we have
Right.
for a long time.
Yes, we have.
But what can help us bring us back to each other?
Well, I think one of the things about the 250th is a chance to focus on the common good and the wonders of this country, the history of this country, the fact that you can worship freely without government tell you how to worship, the fact that you can speak in the public square without being jailed, the fact that we have a press that's willing to hold the powerful to account. I mean, these are all things that should and generally do unite us. I am not concerned about the long-term health of our country because I've studied enough history to know that we've been through the periods of intense anger and intense rivalry of ideas. But the beauty about democracy, Jen, is that it's self-correcting. And one of the key things I'm going to try to do during the 250th is encourage citizens to participate in the process. And if you don't like what's going on, vote. And that's how America heals itself.
I'm not sure we're as divided as we portrayed. I'm sure there's anywhere from 15 to 30% of the people who are on the one end here. But I think the vast majority of people are coming around to conclude that, you know, those things, so they don't even think about it directly, but the safeguards in the Constitution. I think people are beginning to realize they're sort of being trampled on right now. So I'm hopeful that people are going to begin to say, wait, we got to slow this thing up. We're coming to the 250th anniversary of the country, and for me, I think it reminds people that democracies depend on certain basic rules.
In 1993, when you became president, my grandfather left you a letter. What did that letter mean?
It meant the world because it basically said, we had a tough campaign. It's over. You won. And I wish you well because you're all our president now. And your success is America's and every American's. So I really wish you well. I kept that letter close at hand for years after I read it. I was just so touched by it. And then when your dad was elected, I wrote him a letter that said basically the same thing.
What do you think we can learn from that in this moment in history?
That America is bigger than anybody's personal hopes and dreams.
For the American people, sometimes it's the smallest gestures that have the biggest impact.
I get a little antsy, as I'm sure you know. And I was sitting next to Michelle. That's what happened. That's who I sit next to at funerals. And I was kind of teasing her and stuff, and I slipped her an Altoid. Not as a joke, but I thought she might want one. And I got in the car afterwards, and you said, "You're trending." I didn't know what trending meant. And it turns out the country is starved to see a white center-right Republican and a African-American center-left Democrat having fun and being able to converse, not as political figures, but as citizens. And I intend to continue to try to do that.
Our next chapter filled with the same passion and determination on all sides to hold close to the principles that built America and made her strong.
As we're celebrating 250 years of our democracy, what message do you have to Americans?
Remember what's best in us. The basic principle upon which this country was founded, which is we don't have rulers, we don't have kings or monarchs or aristocracies, we have citizens. And if we hold true to that idea, that we the people have been gifted this chance of self-government, if we pay attention to our responsibilities and our duties, and if we extend respect and thoughtfulness to our fellow citizens, even if we disagree with them, if we understand that part of this democratic project is to sort through our differences in peaceful, legal ways, then I'm confident that we're going to have another 250-year run that's going to be just as good.
The country will survive as much by the process, by the freedom to speak, by the freedom to vote, by the freedom to be active in politics, as by any particular issue. And because it's like it is, compromise is essential.
We're the most unique country in the world. The most unique country in the world in the sense that we really do think democracy is dictated by the rules of the Constitution. And we do believe, and we act, and when we do well, that all men are created equal.
My message is consider yourself fortunate to be a part of a great nation. Study our history so you have a better sense for what the future will be like. And be a citizen, not a spectator. And by that I mean participate in the process, but also love a neighbor like you'd like to be loved yourself. See, one of the beauties of this country is that there are thousands and thousands of citizens who volunteer on a daily basis to help somebody in need. They're often not heralded, but they make a huge difference, one person at a time. And I would hope people will take a look at our history and realize we're an imperfect nation trying to be more perfect, but be optimistic about the future of the country.